Hi everyone, Jill Lancet, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Sydney, Australia, in Greystanes actually, and it's another grey June day here. It's quite cold, looks like it's been raining or is about to rain. Well, that's winter in Sydney, isn't it? Okay, well, I've got my favourite beverage here. It's a long black espresso coffee with some vanilla in it, and that's my choice of beverage for today, in my little trusty little thermos cup so it doesn't go cold while I'm crafting. This is my online store, this one here, and if you go there you can purchase any of the products that you see. You can also click over to my business Facebook page, my Instagram, my no, I don't have Twitter, what am I saying? My Pinterest and my YouTube channel. They're all there. If you ever want to see any of my projects, probably best to start with my YouTube or go to my Facebook page. Now the card we're making is one of the ones that we made in last Sunday's class. I saw this card, somebody made it, somebody clever made it. I don't know who originated it, but I just fell in love with it. It's got this 3D piece that's been torn and then rolled and glued with a piece of the beautiful New Horizons Designer Series paper, or DSP as we call it. I just thought it was a beautiful card, and I'm still crazy for this paper, and at the moment it's part of our last chance products sale, and yeah, it's in there and it's reduced by 30%, but I'll show you where it is in the catalogue and I'll show you how much it is. Now I'm going to make this card basically almost from scratch, something I very rarely do on my videos because I like to save a bit of time, but this is very quick. You wouldn't believe how quick this card is to make. So I'm going to cut the pieces, show you how I got it together. But first of all, I'm going to get all the bits and pieces that we need. Oh, this is my host code. Sorry, nearly forgot. This is for orders under $250. If your order is over $250, don't put it in. It will actually ask you what rewards you would like. Customers earn rewards after $250 sales. Under that, I group them together in this host code, and I'm able to get things for my classes or gifts when people place orders. So it helps me out a little bit. And that's current until the 30th of June. Okay, so I've got all the bits and pieces here, and I'm going to show you where this beautiful paper is in the catalogue. Now this is the January to June mini catalogue. This will be leaving us on the 30th of June, and just in time for a new mini catalogue that will be coming out. And the papers that we are looking at are these beautiful New Horizon papers. Now, I've been playing with these a lot lately. I didn't really like the look of them, to be honest. When I first saw them, I just didn't see how you could use them, even though there's all these beautiful examples, duh. But I got it anyway, and then I thought, you know what? I really like it. So yeah, I'm still playing with it. But look, it is retiring on the 30th of June. These items are until stocks last. So if you really, really want it, don't hang around. Now it's reduced from $20 down to $14. So that's a 30% discount. So yeah, don't miss out. If that's what you want, yeah, don't wait too long, because they do, because demonstrators are able to also buy, they sometimes stock up for their classes. So yeah. Now the other things that we're using are the stamp set here, this Nature's Prints And we're just using the greeting because the paper is doing all the work for us today. So this greeting here, best wishes and happy thoughts. In case you're wondering, somebody's building something down the road, as they always are around here for some reason. And the other items that we're using are the 2021, I don't know if that's glary, 2021, 2023 in colour opal rounds. And these are really lovely. We'll put them on the card at the end and you can have a look, I think, because the packaging's a bit glary. And they are in here somewhere under embellishments. Embellishments. You think, I've had this a couple of months now. I still can't find anything. Gosh. I don't know where they are. Usually I mark the page. You'd think I could mark the page. Ah, here we go. And they're these ones here. These little 2021 to 2023 opal rounds. So you get all 5 colours. Not this year's in colours, last year's in colours. They go for 2 years and one will drop off and a new one will come in. So it goes for 2 years and they overlap. I don't know whether that makes sense to you or not. But anyway, so what I'm doing is I have already got the card base cut to size. Now it's half an A4, so cut in half vertically this way, and it's scored at 10.5. So this measurement here actually ends up being 14.8 by 10.5. That's the wrong one. Okay, so let's try that again. Half an A4, scored at 10.5. This measurement is 14.85. And this then creates a card that will open out at 10.5. Probably just confused everything. Okay, so I'm actually going to cut these. Normally I have them cut to size, but I wanted to just show you how to go about it. Now I made myself this little thing, and it's just the first mat that I would normally use, which is this piece of white that's actually being glued onto the front of the cardstock, is 14.3 by 10. So that's the first mat, so to speak. So then I went down in 0.5 centimetres, so half a centimetre increments this way and that way. And they will actually make a really nice border. So I just continued on going down and down and down. So when you're creating a card and you think, well, which border should I use? Do I want a big border? You can use them, you can see how they're going to end up. So that's what I do. I keep it in my drawer. It looks a bit messy. I've had to put these things on there because they started to tear. But yeah, it's very, very handy. And you can make that yourself. As I said, 0.5 centimetres, 0.5 centimetres, half a centimetre that way and half a centimetre that way. And I just punched a hole in the corner, put a curtain ring or whatever that is, just to hold it together. Sorry, I'm rambling now. Okay, so I want to cut these to size. So here's our card base. We don't need that at the moment. I'm going to use the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer. This thing is really, really good. If you haven't got one, it's not really that expensive. I think it's about $44 or something like that. I suppose I better have a look, hey, before I go. Tools. Gosh, I'm unprepared today. Tools, cutting, $1.55. It's probably on one of these things here. $1.55. there it is there. What's it called? Paper trimmer. There it is, $44. It is $44. And it's got this little arm that comes out, so if you're using larger pieces, it comes with a blade and a scoring blade, and we're going to have a look at those right now. So the scoring blade is the lighter of the two. I usually keep that up the top and slide my cutting one down to the bottom. It will stay out of the way, so if you need to measure from either end, the blade is up out of the way, so it's not going to interfere with your measurements. This arm does open out, and it goes right out to 43 centimetres. That's a long way, or 17 inches. I very rarely use that, but it's there if I want to. So now I'm going to cut this down to 14.3. So here's 14, and the next longer mark is 5. So I want to go 14.1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to just cut that. And it cuts really well, it cuts really easily. And the next measurement is 10. So what I do is I cut an A4 sheet of cardstock into quarters, and I keep them in the drawer, and then I just have to trim them down accordingly. I might want to cut it in half or whatever, but they're in the drawer, they're already this size, so that's really handy for me. So that's that piece cut. Now, this is the beautiful New Horizons paper, and there's so many beautiful designs in this, but there are these ones that are very reminiscent of a garden or hillside or whatever. You've seen the ones that we've made. You saw the one that we made on Sunday. But yeah, there are some beautiful, and there's other papers on the back that are like watercolours. Here's another scene. So I mean, that could be a night sky. You know, you could do whatever you liked with those. And the colours are written on the back here, the colours that will go with these papers. So those colours are in the design. Now, it might be up to you to just work out that that's Evening Evergreen and that's Garden Green, but at least it narrows your choice down. So they're really, really beautiful papers, and I am enjoying using those. So I'm going to cut this. It's a 6x6 sheet, as you can see, and I'm going to cut it 3.5 by 3.5. Now, if you're using exclusively centimetres, that's about 7.6, but it's 6 by 6 inches. So I'm just going to cut it at 3. So I'm going to cut it vertically at 3, and then take those two, put them together, and then cut them also at 3. Now this cuts quite easily through those two layers, and this is not flimsy paper, it's quite substantial paper. So now I can make 4 cards if I wish. That's all the cutting done. So I can pick the one that I really want. I can pick the scene that I really want. And I've got 3 other pieces already cut to size and ready to go to make the same sort of card. Sorry, I just had to have a drink. Okay, so I'm actually going to go with this one here. I mean, it's vastly different from this. This reminds me of a winter scene, although today you could, yeah, quite easily look out and see that winter scene. But I want this happy one here. So I'm going to put the rest of those away, keep them for another day. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to go about making this. Okay, so we've got our little first panel here, and I'm going to stamp that with the greeting first. Okay. And I'm going to stamp it using the Evening Evergreen, which is the dark green in these in this scene. So I've already set this up. Okay, I'm going to put my cardstock in there. I'm going to stamp it around about there. Now, there is a rule of thirds, and you've probably heard me say this, probably, I don't know, too many times. But in the design world, there is a rule of thirds. And it's simply looking for that sweet spot. And by sweet spot, it means if you divide this up into thirds, so we like a noughts and crosses grid, okay, into thirds, where those lines intersect is basically the sweet spot. So you'd have one there, one there, one there, and one there. And by sweet spot, I mean it's pleasing to the eye. So I always try to keep that in mind when I'm designing cards. You'll find that most people have that nice balance happening as well. Otherwise, it just doesn't look right. You know there's something not right with it. You mightn't be able to put your finger on it. But yeah, that's probably what it is. There's something probably not right in that layout of the design. So I've got the greeting up in this sort of top third here. And I'm going to put my magnet. Yep, they're really strong magnets. And you cannot begin to describe how strong they are until you actually experience them. So this is just the Evening Evergreen ink. I'm just giving that a really good ink up. Now the beauty of the Stamparatus is if I was making those other 3 cards that I had cut the other things out for, this is already in place. All I need to do is pop my cardstock in there, ink that up and stamp it. But there's another benefit, and that's probably the first benefit, is if that doesn't stamp correctly in the first place, let's just say I stamp it like that, and I think, oh, that doesn't look very good. It's a bit wishy-washy. I can ink it up and stamp it up again, and it's going to come out in exactly the same spot, theoretically speaking. Probably won't now that I've said that. So you don't want to smush it down, and that is the technical term, smush. You just want to connect that to the paper and let the ink soak up into the paper, and that looks much better. So give that a quick clean with the Simply Chamois, which just has water on it, and it cleans that up beautifully. And I'll leave that there for the minute, just in case I want to continue on today and make the other 3. So I've got this rather plain looking front of the card now, and I want to show you how I got this part here. I mean, as you can see, it's probably just torn. Yep, you're probably right. So I want to go about a third up, about a third down, and I actually used a ruler, but there is a knack, and I'm going to give you that knack. Hang on 2 secs while I just have a drink. So in order to get this beautiful feathery edge, and I'm not sure if you can see that feathery edge, you need to pull this section towards yourself. So we need to hold this down, pull this section up, and then hold this section down and pull the other half up. So it does sometimes require you to sort of stop and think for a minute. Now I used the ruler on this one, and it is quite straight. And then when we made them in the class, I just tore it along. But we have a bit of leeway here. You see the space is not going to be 3 inches. So we do have a little bit of leeway, but I will do it with the ruler just to show you, because the girls in the class really thought it was much better with the ruler. So I'm going to go about here I'm using my grid paper. As you can see, I'm using my grid paper here. I'm lining that up there, lining that up there. And I want to decide where I'm going to tear that. So I think I might tear it about there. So what I did was I just lifted the whole piece up like this and tore that towards me, up and towards me. And you don't have to go like follow the line of the ruler perfectly. So I'm just doing it in little bits, and I'm just moving my fingers underneath it as I go along. And we want to go about 2/3 along. And then we want to move the ruler along. I'm using my grid paper again just to make sure I've got this pretty even. I want to put the ruler down. Where's my piece of paper? Check that I'm got plenty of leeway. Yep. And then I'm lifting this piece up again and pulling it towards myself. Okay. So little nibbles. That's all you need is little nibbles. And don't be alarmed if it sort of goes a little bit off track, because that's what we want. We want that. We want that look, that rustic look. Okay, so that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part. So now I just want to sit this behind here and show you what we're going to be seeing. We're going to be having a little peek into a beautiful forest scene. So now I want to roll this, and the best way to do this is to just sort of get your bone folder and just give it a bit of a... So what we're doing is we're kind of breaking the fibres just a little bit. And then I used a skinny little paintbrush handle. I've got my glue ready, and I just rolled it around this. And I just kept rolling and rolling and rolling until I got to where the opening ends. Then I just took that out, popped a little bit of glue under here, and then just held that for a little minute, just till the glue set. And it really only does take a minute. And I prefer the liquid glue for that. That's the green, I call it the green glue, or just liquid glue. This little thing I made out of a little tea towel holder thing, I explained it in a previous post. I won't bore you again. So that's pretty much grabbed now, but I'm not going to truss that for a minute. I'm just going to leave that on there for a second. I'm going to have another little mouthful. And yeah, I'm pretty sure we're right. Now, what I did next was I just put glue around this opening. I didn't worry about this. I just put glue right around those three edges. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this picture right up against the edge. And I'm just popping down my silicone mat, which has got glue all over it and goodness knows what else. Just in case that glue comes off, I don't want it to stick to my table. Won't stick to this thing because nothing sticks to it. So I've got a bit of leeway. I can go up, I can go down. So I'm going to decide where I want to put that. I mean, you might even want to go a bit over this way and then trim this off here. But I think I'll just butt it straight up against the edge of the designer paper. And just hold that down for a second. And now we've got this little peep, a little peep into an enchanted garden somewhere in the middle of the forest. How simple is that? Easy peasy. Now, just glue that straight onto the front of our card. And now I can glue this down as well. It's not going anywhere. And there is a border, just be aware of the border. And I think white on white looks really elegant. There's just something about it. It just looks really lovely. Okay, and I just wanted to use some of these beautiful in colour opal rounds. Now, when I stick them on the card, I'll show you the beautiful finish that they have. I think the plastic tends to detract from that. But I'm thinking of picking up the pink that's in these little flowers. So I think I'll just, normally I just have 3, but I don't know. I want to keep the eye moving around this card. So we might try one there. I have one there. I'll put a little one pointing up to that, I think. And that's it. How simple is that? So I'll show you these opal rounds now. They look as though they've got some sort of holographic foil inside them that catches the light. But that is just the simplest, very effective little card, in my opinion. And when I saw it, I thought, yeah, I have to make that. Now, obviously, that's probably going to get squashed if you send it in an envelope. You might be able to put some bubble wrap either side of it. If you're sending it in an envelope, it's not going to create any more weight, but it might certainly cushion that. Most of the time, my cards are hand delivered anyway, so I really don't have a problem with that. But you could add more of those little beautiful opal rounds on there if you wanted to. But that's today's card. That's the second in the series of 3 that we made in my Sunday class. And the ladies in there were very, very pleased to make this card. This could even be classed as a beginner card. Once you know how to do it, it's so simple. So do go to my online store, have a look, flip around and have a look everywhere at all my social media, familiarise yourself with it. What I'll do is I'll put this little notepad here, and I'll give you a minute to take a screenshot of that if you like. I'll put the other card next to it on this side. Hopefully you can see both of them. Website, host code for June. There's the 2 cards. These ones here are actually the iridescent rhinestones. And again, they're beautiful too because they go with any colour background that's on there. So I'm calling it the New Horizons Torn and Rolled card, only because I couldn't think of anything fancy. So all the details are there. So you've got your card base, the white base, the New Horizons DSP, which is currently in the January to June mini catalogue that's retiring. We've got the Nature's Print stamps. Sorry, that's probably glary. The Evening Evergreen ink and these beautiful in colour opal rounds. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I've demystified this card for you, and I hope you give it a go. Yeah, simple, Simon. Look, I am open to questions too. If you have any questions regarding this card, shoot me a message, or you know, if you go to my site, my phone number's there, my email's there. There's so many ways to contact me. And if you'd like a catalogue, just let me know, and I'll get one out to you. So thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.